of his anti-communism? Because I mean, in retrospect, obviously the means we don't endorse, but he was right about that understanding of what would happen to the communistic power.
He was interested in the communism, and he sent his son Jiang Jingguo to Russia to study. And actually, his son was hostage up there. He married a Russian. And that's one of the reasons you don't have a Jiang dynasty, because these children are not 100% Han, right? Because their mom's Russian. And however, as he learned more about it, because initially he's interested in that, he's interested probably in fascism as well and how you organize a side. And he studied in Japan, knew a great deal about how the Japanese had done things. I think he military education there as well. But then he starts realizing how dangerous they are. He was accurate. He did not want to fight the Japanese at all. And he was forced to by Chinese students, among others, and a lot of the urban elite that he depended on, who were horrified with what Japan was doing. But Chiang Kai-shek knew you only take on one enemy at a time. You'll become overwhelmed if you do. And he believed that really he needed to kind of accommodate or put the Japanese aside, fight the communists, get rid of them, and then he's hoping the United States will get in or something that then he could deal the Japanese separately. But he faced so much popular pressure that's when the Xi'an incident takes place in the end of 36, where he agrees to form the Second United Front, because he realizes he'll be overthrown by popular hatred of the Japanese, thinking they have to fight the Japanese. So he didn't have his choices on military strategies at the end there.
When you read Western journalists who are covering the communists in China sympathetically, people like Edgar Snow, and this is not just true of China, Walter Duranty covering up the Holodomor in Russia. What's going on psychologically? How do you understand their naivety here?
Oh, I don't know about the other guy, but I do know about Edgar Snow. So Edgar Snow, it was in the Depression. He's from the Midwest. He was bored. Young man, he wants an adventure. So he goes off to China. So this typical. And he's in these cities where he's seeing nationalist corruption, and it's evident there. And Mao is looking for a foreign journalist. There'd been a guy, Jack Reed, who'd written however many days of the Russian Revolution back during the Russian Revolution, who'd really popularized it. And I suspect, but I don't know, that Mao probably needed his own Jack Reed. And Edgar Snow seemed the perfect guy because he's a very good writer. You want someone who can write well, and he's young and naive. So what was it? Sun Yat-sen, the founding father of China, is married to one of the Sung sisters. Another one of the Sung sisters is married to Chiang Kai-shek, and there's a third one who's married to a banker. But anyway, it's the communist one who puts Mao on, I think, to Edgar Snow. So someone goes to Edgar and says, hey, you want to come up to Yan'an to interview the big man? And Edgar goes, sure. And they infiltrate him through Japanese lines and all the rest of it. And there's Mao, the busy man, who's spending hours with the 30-year-old, or I don't even know if he's his 20-year-old. I can't remember how old he was. And Edgar Snow doesn't get it. Like, why is he spending all this time with me? And he's taken by it. And Mao's, of course, showing him all the good stuff, right? So Edgar Snow's seeing all the happy peasants who've got the land, and they're cooperating in the guerrilla, this and that. And he is, what is it? He is the last person to get out of Yan'an, and then the Japanese in the war just shuts it down. So no one's got any more information about Mao ever. So Edgar Snow writes his book, Red Star of China. He gives the drafts to Mao. Oh yeah, he does the Mao interviews, and then he has Mao correct them. And his translator correct them back and forth, which isn't the normal thing. And then over the different editions of Red Star of China, because I've actually read them and followed the changes, more and more of it gets eliminated. The original version has all kinds of pictures of people that Mao subsequently purges, so those pictures go away. All references to those people go away, and they're no longer in the index. And Edgar Snow goes along with this. And for the rest of his life, he is publishing books that are variation on a theme on this book, because it's the only thing that makes him important.
Before he dies, is he discredited?
No. Mao wanted him. It was right when Nixon was reopening China. Mao desperately wanted Edgar Snow to cover that. And Edgar Snow got pancreatic cancer and he was living in Switzerland. He'd run in trouble with the McCarthy era, as you could well imagine, for good reasons, actually. And so Mao sends his personal physician or something to attend to Edgar Snow, but pancreatic cancer still kills, and it killed him. So no, and this was even though people Edgar Snow knew had been purged during these various campaigns and also the Great Famine, he denied all of it till the very end, because this is what made him important, and so that's what he was to the end of his life. Me, 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 me.
When you had the slogans up about how what Mao was telling the peasants, or the different slogans he would come up with, it's not tremendously sophisticated stuff. It's like one line that's catchy or something.
Like a tweet.
Yeah.
Still works.
I mean, why was this enough? You can just write one line and that's...
It's not enough. I think if you're talking about someone who has no power, the one thing they've got are words. And so this is how it turns out. Strategic communication, or whatever the jargon is for it, is terribly important. And we're finding it now, right? We're wondering on what is actually fake news, what's disinformation, what's accurate, what's not, what's deliberately inaccurate, who's posting it where. It's powerful. You can see it in the current election of how important information is. And Mao and the communists play it well, and the Russians absolutely understand how to do this. This is they're really good at understanding both sides fighting, and then you feed information both ways so that they're just at each other's throats and being more and more dysfunctional. Oh, yeah.
When was the last time you were allowed to go into the archives in China?
Oh, it wasn't a question of being allowed. I got a fellowship right, it was supposed to happen right after Tiananmen, and that got closed down. Tiananmen was in June of '89. So the fellowship was delayed for half a year, and then we went for all of 1990. And so I used different archives, but then I did other things, like I had 2 children and I stayed at home with them. And I was the spouse that didn't travel so that there would be stability in little people's lives. And now I would no more visit China. You've got to be kidding. And the archives have shut down now. And then the Russian archives, it was early Gorbachev when the archives were opening. They're slammed shut now.
It's funny to hear you say I wouldn't visit China now. So in 2 weeks, I'm going to go to China. And my next question,
Have fun.
my next question was going to be on what is your advice?
Keep your mouth shut. Be a good guest. And don't bring any computer equipment that you ever tend to use ever again and link with anything.
Yeah. When you're in these archives and you're studying all these atrocities that happen, I mean, if you look at the numbers themselves, it might be fair to call it genuinely the worst thing that ever happened in human history in terms of pure number of deaths. And that's a hard record to match if you look at everything else that's happened in human history. Viscerally, what's the reaction just going through record after record of this kind of...
Oh, it's just tragic. It's tragedy. It's the human condition. And don't think that China is unique in this. The West has butchered itself. Westerners have butchered each other. In fact, it's the West that industrializes warfare. So before you had to go at it with spears, and that slowed people down, with industrial equipment. So it's human, sadly. Humans have great capacity for creativity and doing wonderful things, and then they have great capacity to do awful things. So let's do one and not the other.
That seems like a pretty good place to close. Sarah, this is I mean, I don't want to say fun because we're talking about Mao here, but it was interesting.
You want to save your reputation?
Great, thank you.
You're welcome. Thank